Okay, what's your claim in this case?
The claim is $47.90 and rent $269 in cost for a total of $50.59.
Welcome back to Trial Truth, where courtroom chaos meets cold, hard justice. Today's case dives into a landlord-tenant dispute that spirals out of control from unpaid rent to emotional support animal drama. Judge Simpson takes the bench, and instantly confusion erupts over $550 claim rent, costs, and supposed illegal pet fees. But the tenant fires back. It's not a pet, it's an ESA protected under federal law. From that moment, the courtroom turns into a tug-of-war between compassion and contract law. One side invokes a Fair Housing Act, the other just wants their money. What started as a rent issue is now a legal puzzle of emotions, missteps, and technicalities.
1559.
50.59.
Give me that whole figure again. I'm sorry.
4790 269 50.59.
5059. Got it. And what do you have to say to that, sir?
I'm not sure. I believe what 2,700 or so is due to the illegal pet fees. I believe.
Illegal pet fees?
Right.
What do you mean illegal pet
We have a
fees?
dog there. That is I guess protected under the ESA licensing. And so I guess they're fighting back on that.
They didn't disclose there was a dog. When he says illegal, unauthorized would probably be better.
I'm pretty sure I've
Okay.
Anyway,
I remember.
So,
Essentially the impression that we were under upon getting the licensing for the dog is that it should basically be treated more as a prescription than a pet. Those are not my words necessarily. And there's nothing necessarily under the Fair Housing Act that is implying that I'm doing.
that what?
There's nothing specifically listed in the Fair Housing Act that is implicating that there's anything necessarily being breached
By what?
as far as like the lease agreement.
So what I hear you're saying, and I don't know if you're trying to say that to me, they can charge the fee.
I don't. But
Is that what you're saying?
Barnes and Barnes can charge the fee. Is that what you're saying? Or? I'm saying that technically it's not even a pet at this point.
Defense leans fully into the ESA claim, but Judge Simpson isn't buying it. His tone is calm, skeptical, surgical. He asks, where's the proof? If it's a true ESA, who prescribed it and when? Because courts don't run on emotion under the Fair Housing Act. An ESA must be medically necessary, not just emotionally convenient. The tenant's language, sentiment, understanding, impression screams uncertainty, and in court, uncertainty is deadly. Would you walk in with paperwork or just feelings?
And so, there's no real. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, it's okay.
That's essentially the sentiment that was expressed when we had gotten the
Sentiment by whom?
the doctor. We have, there was a doctor that we went to. It's under the dog is registered to Aaliyah through the emotional support animal.
Okay.
Right.
There's no such license, Your Honor, and
I know.
Then comes a hammer moment. Judge Simpson crushes the ESA license myth once and for all. Yes, emotional support animals are protected, but there's no such thing as a government-issued ESA license. Those online certificates? Fake. Meaningless. Simpson's tone shifts part correction, part education. He lays it out clearly. Lying about a license weakens the rights of those with real disabilities. The courtroom falls silent. The tenant realizes paperwork alone won't save him.
I,
The police specifically says they won't have a pet there, and they said they didn't have a pet there, and they did.
but I think
It's
his
not a
argument
service
is it's not a pet, it's a
Right. It's not-
emotional support animal.
Basically, the sentiment that was expressed was that,
Well, there's a sentiment and then there's other things.
right. I mean,
The issue here is that, I mean, to the extent that it's real, when did the dog receive this certification?
when it was basically a few months after it was born, we had gotten it when I was a puppy. So in 2019 is the year. I can't. It would probably be sometime in the
Okay, so,
May
sir,
2019.
let's just assume. I don't, but just hypothetically, let's assume that there's $2,700.
that needs to be paid.
Well, there's $2,700 in these disputed pet fees.
Okay.
There's $5,000 that's over. Do you have the other amount?
We have rent for it's what January and February and March. That's owing now. And we didn't make.
Where is that money?
We have that money. It's just with.
How come you haven't paid that to
Just
the
with
landlord?
everything else, with the because they were trying to evict us over the dog. Didn't want to. It was already that. I just figured we'd settle this before any other payments were made. Does that make any sense? I don't know. It made sense to me.
Well, okay.
I didn't. If we're getting evicted anyway, not trying to.
Sir, if you paid the money, you wouldn't be getting evicted.
No, but they're arguing the dog and whatnot. They were saying either get rid of the dog or get rid of yourselves. So I just wanted to come to court.
Well, so what do you want to do?
I mean, I came to argue that we have the ESA paperwork. They were willing to honor that paperwork if we were willing to renew it, because we only got the one license when the dog was born, basically. And I talked to Jessica Barnes. She had essentially agreed that they would be able to honor
All right.
if we could update it. But
Where's the other money?
the 2 months rent,
Yeah.
I said we have it. I just wanted to come to court first if they're charging all.
Now comes the emotional pivot. The tenant admits he withheld rent, hoping to settle it in court. Big mistake. Judges hate that Simpson nearly smacks. That doesn't make sense. Sympathy quickly turns into skepticism. Here's a lesson. Courts reward diligence, not defiance. Still, you can't ignore the human side. Fear of eviction can make anyone desperate. Would you have risked eviction to stand on principle?
I just wanted to come to court first to settle it, to see what was actually. Does that make? I'm sorry, man. Does that not make sense?
Okay.
If we were to pay, February.
So you don't think of any of this 2,700, this dog fees you owe?
No, because that completely nullifies everything that we got the licensing for.
When did you get the latest ESA approval? Or
We
what?
only got one about a month after the dog was.
Well, how old's the dog?
He's turning 5 this year.
Fast forward 5 years and Judge Simpson's patience is thin. The ESA letter, issued when the dog was a puppy, never renewed. That's a red flag. The ESA documentation must show current medical need. The tenant argues a Fair Housing Act doesn't require renewal, technically true, but landlord can ask for updated proof. Simpson catches it instantly. A 5-year-old note? Not valid. Imagine using that in federal court. The judge's tone hardens logic over emotion, documents over declarations.
5 years ago?
Yeah, 2019. I mean, it's still the same dog. and
Well, I presume, I don't
I
know.
try to do at least my, utmost diligence in trying to, research things, and it's set under the Fair Housing Act. It doesn't require the licensing to be updated. There's nothing where it says that.
Okay, all right, here's what we're gonna do.
I'm just trying
Is there 20, what?
I'm just trying to go off. I'm just trying to tell you what I've been going off.
Okay, I understand that. Give me 5059 minus 2700.
So that's
2359 is what's owing,
right.
absent the 2700 in dog fees, right?
Yes.
So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna find no tribal issue. I'm gonna grant a partial judgment to the plaintiff.
Finally, the ruling. Judge Simpson calculates the rent owed minus disputed pet fees and grants a partial judgment of $2,359. That's smart balance separating what's certain from what's arguable. He sets the $2,700 SI issue for trial, ensuring due process while giving the landlord partial relief, justice in motion, precise, patient, procedural.
In the amount of 2359. That's inclusive of the costs that are in it because you'd be entitled to the cost. I will set for trial 2,700 in dog fees. You're going to need to bring witnesses, certifications, everything else to say that this is a certification that might waive those fees. And I'll set that for trial on the 2,700 in dog fees. When's my next trial date?
March 27th at 9 a.m.
I can't do that 27.
Well, no, I got it. Give me a Tuesday. Is that a Tuesday? Give me a Tuesday. It's the 18th, 19th.
The
19th. Can you do 19th?
I'll be in the custody of Delta on the 19th. Literally.
Got it.
The next one.
No, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set it next week, the 15th. May work? 15th at, what time is Mr. Fried?
2 p.m.
2 p.m. Then I'm going to set a trial on this at 3 p.m. on the 15th. Got that, sir? So you need to bring all your paperwork, everything else. The other defendant needs to be present since the dog is on the start of that. And then I'm going to make a ruling on the 27th. There's going to be a partial judgment for the 2359 that I'm granting already to them. That needs to be paid within 10 days of today's date. You understand that?
That's right.
All right. Thank you.
I think I guess we've got the judgment, so I don't, never mind. I almost kind of like to have escrow.
Pardon?
I kind of feel like I should get escrow if he claims he has it in order for him to have a trial.
Well, I would only be able to get, he'd have 7 days to pay it.
Yeah.
And I'm only going to get a partial amount of March. So that's why I did it that way.
That's fine.
Got it. All right. So first thing, let me just tell you folks, your motion is not timely. That's going to be the first thing. And you're looking to stay the writ, but you know, you're not even, you don't have the full amount that's due.
So when they filed, I guess, the motion for us missing the court date in January, we paid whatever was due before the court date and was told that we didn't have to show up. So we knew none of this was even going on until we got the notice on our door in February saying that we were getting evicted.
Yeah.
Your Honor,
What do you mean?
So I think the issue is on January 5th, they paid $822, which I believe covered the demand amount, but that didn't
Got it.
include the January rent. Because even after that payment, there was a balance due of $1,588.29.
$1,588 was due at that.
Yes, 1588.29, and I think that payment came in simultaneous with the court date because we were here on the 5th. So the judgment was for the balance without that payment being taken into account.
Got it. Okay, folks.
And Your Honor, my client did confirm receiving $1,600 yesterday.
So they got 1,600 yesterday. And then, was it 16 even or 1610? Do you know?
16 even.
16 even. Okay. All right. Real good. So we just asked this of you because this is really what the issue is that you're going to be about 1,800 short.
And that's with the 1 month from the escrow.
Right. You owe 5,000, I think $5,036.79. So $540, $5,040, let's say. And you thus far paid 16 to the landlord. You got 1610 in escrow. It's going to be about 3,200. Roughly speaking, you're about 18 then short.
We could pay, so that's for March, right?
Well, look at it this way. It doesn't matter what that's for. There's a writ outstanding. You filed a motion and you owe this money.
So my question is, when we paid what was remaining January 5th, we are understanding that January was late, but at that point it was 800 something due, and we were told we didn't have to show up to court. How come it wasn't another date filed for late rent? It just went from...
Here's where confusion spirals. The tenant insists they skipped a January hearing because they thought payment cleared it. Wrong. Simpson listens, then points out they paid December's balance, not January's rent. That one mistake triggered eviction motions in courtroom chaos lesson? Deadlines aren't feelings, they're math. Rent due on the 1st means late on the 2nd. Timelines rule the courtroom.
That January motion to a notice of eviction.
Okay, because I can understand the confusion that occurs, okay? Because what you paid was the demand amount, which only went through December. It didn't include your January rent.
Okay.
So when somebody tells you, if you say, I paid everything, do I have to show up? I don't know what the conversation was. If you paid everything, you wouldn't have to show up. But everything wasn't paid.
So I guess my confusion is because technically late is not rent. Rent is not late until 11:59. So yeah, we didn't pay it, but we really had the whole day to pay it. So
the whole day of what?
Of January the 5th.
Well, it's not late January 5th.
Right.
Rent's due on the 1st.
Exactly. I understand that. But what I'm saying is we have up until the 5th before it's late, correct?
No, it's late on the 2nd. It's not, there's no late fee until, I think your rent is due on the 1st. It's considered late on the 2nd. You get a grace period before a late fee is charged.
As far as the remaining balance, we can pay that this month. Have a little more time.
Well,
18.
Okay, because there's a writ that's out there right now. It got stayed temporarily because this amount's it. And what I'm saying is, you guys need to tell me exactly, and plaintiff may object to this, but I'd like to see you try to maintain your housing. But I got to have a way that you're going to get this 18 in. And the only reason I'm talking to you about it is because you guys have paid about $3,210. Well, exactly $3,210 of that 5.
And Your Honor, if they can give a date on when they think they can pay it, I'm happy to talk to my client and see if they're willing to work with them. I don't have any authority without checking with them.
Right. So that's what I'm trying to work out. I understand, ma'am. It's not that I'm not hearing what you're telling me, okay? And we could sit up there and have the fight about that, but then once we're done with that fight, I still got $1,800 I gotta find, okay? All right, so I just didn't want you to think I was disrespecting what you were saying to
That's
me.
okay.
I got. So how do you guys see getting the 18 in?
Now, the tone softens. Judge Simpson pauses law and turns mediator. He sees effort, confusion, and partial payments and offers a lifeline. Find $800 by the 22nd. Even opposing counsel softens, agreeing to check with the landlord that's courtroom pragmatism resolution over revenge. Simpson proved that true judges balance authority with empathy.
What was he looking down at? You had to tell him where the calendar was. He wasn't, you don't know, right? Okay, never mind. I'm not, how you make it from day to day without her? Go ahead, what?
I believe that we can get that paid before the 22nd.
You think you can get the 22nd? You think you can get it paid? All right, folks?
Before the 22nd, so I would say like around.
Just say the 22nd.
I'll say the 22nd, just to have a solid date.
Well,
Your Honor, if we
okay.
could pass on the matter, I'm happy to check with my client, see if they're willing to give them till that date to come up with the remaining balance.
Yeah, and my position on it would be, so that your client knows, they have paid so much, they've gotten a good majority of this in, and they really would be looking for an adjournment to the 22nd, just to get that last payment in.
Right.
Understood, Judge. Yep, let me check with them.
All right, so I'm gonna pass it. You guys have a seat, okay? Okay. Ms. Dornbush, they're here.
Yes, Your Honor, I spoke with my client and they are willing to give defendants until the 22nd to get the remaining balance paid. So I think maybe it makes sense to adjourn the hearing to the 22nd, see where things stand at that point. But I would request that the court release the 1610 currently being held in escrow, since it does take a little time for that process to go through and for funds to make it to the
So
land.
that was Dornbush's way of saying we're slow.
No,
I'm
Your Honor,
I'm gonna let my clerks know what you said.
I would never besmirch the reputation of your clerks, Your Honor. I would not dare do such a thing.
I had already written that down before you said anything to release the escrow. You don't have any problem releasing the escrow, do you? Okay, so the escrow, I'm going to release that to the plaintiff. And then I'm going to adjourn this to the 22nd. March 22nd, 2024 at 9 a.m. Now, are you going to be able to get that other amount to the landlord?
Yes.
Before that 9 a.m.? So when I call the case, I just want to make sure we can verify that it's been paid.
Yes.
Okay, I don't believe you. Are you going to be able to get it there?
Yes.
Okay, all right, I believe her. I don't know. I don't know why. He looks a little shit. All right. That's what she was thinking. She was looking at him cross-eyed too. Anyway, all right, folks. We'll see you on the 22nd. Okay, thank you.
Case closed for now. Judge Simpson grants time, releases escrow, and sets a final date. The balance remains, but so does a glimmer of redemption. This case showed it all legal ignorance, emotional turmoil, and disciplined justice. The takeaway: laws aren't flexible just because life is. Emotional support animals matter, but proof and deadlines matter more. Judge Simpson's calm control proves that compassion isn't weakness, it's fairness. So if you found this courtroom battle as jaw-dropping as we did, smash that like, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more raw courtroom drama only on Trial Truth.